The Fallout series is known for being located in several famous US states and cities, and has become a part of the series' core identity. Throughout the games, we get to see firsthand how these locations have developed since the nuclear war. We get to explore the famous landmarks associated with the places, and we also get to understand the significant history the state might have had in the Fallout storyline. In this video, I want to rank how livable each US state is in the Fallout series after the nuclear war. I will not only rank states we visit, but also states that are frequently talked about. I think this is okay because there are several states that have detailed descriptions that give me enough of an understanding of the living conditions there. I will share a good line of reasoning why I rank certain states, and even use evidence provided from characters within the game so that you have a better understanding of where I'm coming from. I will also do this so that I can give people who aren't familiar with the games a better understanding of the world. Of course, any good ranking needs a criteria. The criteria is the following: can I raise a family here? Is it safe to travel within the territory? How rampant is criminal activity? And lastly, does the ruling government have my best interest? With that being said, let's begin. California by 2281 had been completely rebuilt and controlled by the new California Republic. The NCR government formed after Fallout 1 and is prominent in Fallout 2 and especially New Vegas. The NCR government is democratic. However, as described in New Vegas, their government is more corrupt than the old United States. The NCR struggles with protecting its own citizens in their own territories. Characters from New Vegas state that California roads are filled with hostile bandits and gangs, and the only people the government helps are cow hoarders and rich farmers. The NCR can't even control the borders between Nevada and California. The courier has to make an effort to clean up the roads of gang members and mutated creatures. They also even have to help a small town overrun by escaped convicts. During the mission where you help rescue the town, you have to actively convince the higher ups to supply their own troops to kill off the convicts and save the people within the town. Something that's even more worrying is the fact that a Legion raiding party, led by a psychotic furry, completely wipes out a town near the California border. The Legion are the sworn enemies of the NCR, and their brutality affects everybody in the western United States. Overall, the NCR's biggest issue is being too big for its own good. The reported number of people living in California is only 700,000. Compare this to California's real world population, which is 39 million. So it's safe to say that the NCR would have trouble controlling such a large state with very few people. Also adding to the problem is the fact that there are also enemies with the most advanced military in the wasteland, the Brotherhood. To be honest, I could not raise a family here, primarily because my career paths, whether that be a California soldier, a caravan rider, or a caravan guard, all those jobs would require me to be away from home. The roads aren't even protected by the NCR, of course, unless you're a rich and powerful businessman. If you want safe travel on the roads, you have to hire bodyguards and, of course, maintain them with food, water, and ammo, and that requires money and resources. The only time you could really be safe is if you live in one of the major cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, or the Hub. However, the Hub specifically seems to have a bit of an issue with politics and crime. There doesn't seem to be actual gangs in California, at least not that we know of. The real illegal activities seem to happen within the government. As discussed, real problems are often put on the sidelines as long as rich businessmen can pay off the government to solve their problems. So I believe that essentially the government respects your basic rights as a citizen. However, they don't actually go out of their way to solve problems that would help you or the average person. The NCR military also seems to be corrupt, since the general of the NCR army, by the time of New Vegas, only got his position because of his connections rather than his actual commanding skills. To be entirely honest, California sounds like a place where you have to be a charismatic person to even live comfortably. Of course, for me, that's not a problem. However, the average man isn't some smooth talking, benevolent leader, so the reality is it really isn't fair for anybody. And, well, all this brings us to the score. To be honest, I give California a 5 out of 10. Now, if you're a fan of Fallout, this score might seem extremely bad. If you really think about it, California is a state completely rebuilt and is the only democratic state where you have free rights. Just like the old United States before everything went bad, right? On paper, it sounds like a dream come true in the wasteland. But when you peel back the tape, you start to realize you can't really accomplish anything within California. NCR, by the time in Vegas, is at war with the government that's just as powerful, if not even more powerful, than the NCR itself. They don't explicitly state it, but considering the NCR government is modeled after the US government from the 1950s, I assume they have a military draft. The Legion, as I said, is brutal, and if you're on the front lines, good luck, dude, because you're gonna get massacred. Look, I know it's a wasteland. I'm not complaining about the dangers that it brings or the wars that will spring up from governments just naturally having different ideologies. But the NCR has way too many internal conflicts for it to be a viable option for a place to live. In conclusion, California isn't really that great of a place to live. It's good on paper, but not good in practice. Okay, so this is technically unfair since the Capital Wasteland in Fallout is made up of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. But the game groups this as one location, so I'm going to rank it together either way. The game I'm referring to, by the way, is Fallout 3, and Fallout 3 is the first time the Capital Wasteland is introduced to us. So, the local government occupying the Capital Wasteland would be the Brotherhood. However, they have no true influence through the state until they actually take the water purifier. So, because of this, I'm going to have to give the Capital Wasteland a 2 out of 10. Now, first off, out the gate, there is no overarching laws or control, meaning anything bad will and can happen. I don't know. I think that's like a law or something. I forgot the guy's name, but it's that little idea, that law. But anyways, because of this, there are criminals and bandits all over the roads and occupying abandoned buildings. Did I mention that this is one of the most destroyed states ever? I mean, it was bombed to oblivion. Slavery is also a lucrative business, and there's even a massive trading slave center located in the northeastern portion of the state. Think about it, dude. How can I raise a family if I have to worry about my own family being enslaved at any time I go on a hunting trip? There are only two good things about this place. One is that there's a local militia that tries to kill off evil in the world. However, they don't really have a lot of technology and they don't really have the advantage that the Brotherhood has in terms of control. And two, there is an economy, but that's about it. Unlike California, there are no major cities with large populations. There's only two important towns, Megaton, which is a shanty town that surrounds itself around a nuke, and Rivet City, which is a large aircraft carrier. A broken one, but it is stable and actually houses a good number of people. There's also the Pentagon, which is the main headquarters of the local government, the Brotherhood of Steel. But all these bad aspects are outshined by the major problem of the region and the major problem that's presented to us in Fallout 3. And it's the fact that there's no reliable source of clean water. No water means no crops, which means I have to go out hunting for animals or scavenging an old supermarket. Both are obviously dangerous. Do Both are obviously dangerous. But on top of that, I have to worry about my family back home getting killed or captured by slave traders. Couple that with the fact that the Brotherhood has no interest in helping anyone, and my life expectancy drops tremendously. Oh, yeah, you bet this place is a 2 out of 10. No one in their right mind would ever pick this place to live in. Now, back to the West Coast. This will be the first state that hasn't been a location in any of the Fallout games we get to explore. However, we are given enough information about it and its ruling government that I could actually rank it. So, the ruling government of Arizona is Caesar's Legion. Caesar's Legion is an authoritarian government that relies on fear and slave soldiers to increase power and influence. They are often seen as the big bad in the Fallout series. However, we're going to judge them based on their effectiveness as a government rather than their morals. From talking to several caravan traders in Fallout New Vegas, we learned the Legion occupied states have the safest trade networks and roads. You'll almost never run into criminals or wild creatures while walking through the roads, and it is the safest so far. When talking to a man from Arizona, he tells the player that normal people can go on about their business as long as they obey the Legion's rules and never question their authority. However, he then tells us that on one of his trading trips, he ran into the general of the Legion army, the Legate Lanius. The general killed one of the man's cows for simply being in the way. What this insinuates is that as a citizen, you have no true rights, and the Legion and its army is allowed to do anything to you as they see fit. Because of this, the ranking I give Arizona will be a 4 out of 10. Despite the fact that it's the safest state from danger, and in theory I have the right to free will, if a Legion higher up ever has a reason, he could take away my family, my property, or my life at any time, and I have no say in the matter. This is horrible. How could someone ever theoretically live in a nation where their own government can completely kill them, take away everything from them if they see fit? They can give any excuse, any reason, and they can just take it away from you like that. That is insane, dude. No way I could ever raise a family here. The roads are the only redeeming quality of Arizona. I can travel, I can trade, and I'll be safe. But my family are at risk. And of course, if my family is at risk, mainly because the government doesn't have my best interests at heart, since they consider me a tool rather than an actual human being. So yeah, Arizona is a 4 out of 10 for me. This would have been really great, and I would argue that it's almost better than California in a way, simply because it's more protective. But again, the right to free will is taken away from you, and I wouldn't even have a problem with that mainly, but it's simply because you're treated as a tool rather than a human being, as I stated earlier. So yeah, this isn't a good place to live at all. That concludes part one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I want to make a part two, and I'll definitely release a part two. I just want you guys to give me some feedback, and well, I'll see you later. Peace.